The sports books want you to think sports betting is all luck and gut feeling. But then I learned what the sharp bettors actually do, and it honestly changed everything for me. So today I'm breaking down the exact systems that took me from betting like a degen to actually pulling consistent profit. But before you even realize you need one, you've probably gone through the same hurdles I did. I'll never forget the night it clicked for me. I lost a couple of plays early and thought, no big deal, I'll just make it back before bed. Then I remembered some genius online preaching the martingale strategy, saying stuff like, just keep doubling, you literally can't lose. So I did. And then I did it again. Next thing I know, I'm scrolling through obscure soccer leagues I couldn't pronounce, convincing myself a team from Uzbekistan was my ticket back to even. That's how chasing works. You dig deeper, you bet dumber, and the hole just keeps getting bigger. And yeah, I didn't climb out of the ditch that night. So here's how I finally stopped the spiral. I set a hard daily loss cap. Mine's 3 units. If I hit it, I'm done. And that was just the start. Because would you believe me that after setting up that simple guideline for myself, I was finally able to spot bets like this. And this? Yeah, it was actually what helped me reach my first $1,000. So if you want the step-by-step guide, I'll drop the link to my strategy down below. Or you can scan right here. So from losing money, how was I able to actually build a sports betting model? Glad you asked, so let's strip the mystery out of it. So let's say you want to bet on tennis. You could look at the hold rate and break rate, meaning if player A holds 86% of service games and breaks 21%, and player B holds 78% and breaks 17%. Your model would say player A wins more, so they would probably win the next game too. It's a simple pattern. You only check one variable, have one prediction, and you've got a model. It's super basic, and it's most probably wrong. But hey, at least you have the foundation down. Now, real models, they go way deeper. They use dozens, sometimes hundreds of signals. They account for things like injuries, quarterback performance under pressure, pass rush win rate, travel schedules, weather, and even which refs call more penalties on certain schemes. Honestly, the list goes on. But nobody expects you to build all that on day one. So naturally, you start with version 1. Test it on old games, then see where it falls apart. After a few days of trial and error, add a variable or two, test again. Tweak it, break it, rebuild it. And slowly but surely, your model should get sharper. Here's the catch though. You're never truly done, because markets adapt, books adjust, and whatever edge you had eventually gets priced in. So how do you stay on top of that? Simple. You've got to run tracking and feedback loops. Now, you can track bets however you want. Some people use Google Sheets, but OddsJam has a built-in tracker that automatically logs everything for you. It shows you your daily profits, weekly profits, and long-term performance, all in one place. For example, here's my own dashboard from a few months back, and I've made $1,076 in profit in August. A week after that, I was down about $277, but I made over $462 the day before. And that's just the reality of betting. It's variance. You'll have down days, but if you're consistently playing plus EV bets, your graph trends upward. Another thing I like tracking is my actual profit versus my expected profit. And I've been a little lucky lately. My actual profit was $1,233, but my expected profit was supposed to be around $893. That's why tracking is so important. It keeps you grounded in reality. So if you want to see how other people are doing with OddsJam, then feel free to join our private community. Just click the link in the description to learn more or scan the QR code on screen. But please don't put all your faith in this one tool. Because when I first started betting, I thought I had it all figured out. I was using OddsJam, finding positive EV bets left and right. For a while, I was convinced I was printing money, but then I started tracking my bets. Some of my so-called great bets weren't actually beating the closing line. Turns out, just because something's labeled positive EV doesn't mean it'll stay that way. Of course, there are a bunch of reasons why that happens. Maybe the odds shift because of sharp action, or the game is too obscure for the data to be reliable. And sometimes, if only 2 books are covering a market, the value you see is just noise. That's why the real edge comes from tracking your own results. Whether you're using a simple spreadsheet or letting OddsJam's auto tracker do it, the goal is to compare the odds you got with the final market close. If you're consistently beating that closing number, say 60 to 70% of the time, that's your sign you're betting sharp. And don't just track for the sake of tracking. Look for trends. You might find that certain markets, like long shot player props or niche leagues, drag your numbers down. Once you see that, you can fine-tune your filters on OddsJam and cut the fat. That's how you build lasting systems that won't fail you. But you know what? Even when you're tracking like a pro, sometimes you screw up, just like I did. Back at UFC 193, Holm versus Rousey, Ronda Rousey was everyone's favorite. She was undefeated after all. So, like an idiot, I went all in and dropped my whole bankroll on her. Then round 2 came around, and Holm lands that perfect head kick. Ronda face plants, the crowd explodes, and naturally, my bankroll disappeared just like that. I was in pure disbelief. But if that night ever taught me anything, it's this. Confidence doesn't protect you. Bankroll management does. That's why some sharp bettors use things like the Kelly criterion to size their bets. Basically a formula that tells you how much to wager based on your edge. But most people wildly overestimate their edge. So I say just stick to the golden range of 1 to 2% per bet. It's safe and reliable. And when you hit a losing streak day after day, week after week, here's what you need to do. Have a simple protocol in place. Usually you reset your unit size once per week. But in the rare situation that your bankroll drops 20% midweek, say from $10,000 to $8,000, it's too risky to stick to the same unit size at 1%. So pause, recalibrate, and reset your unit size to 1% of the new bankroll. So now you're betting $80, not $100. It seems small, but it's huge psychologically. It creates breathing room, stops the panic, and keeps you in the game. And this one rule makes sure one bad month doesn't wipe out half of your bankroll, which is why I think it's an essential part of anyone's betting system. Now, if you want to see my exact odds jam system to go from $0 to $10,000, then click right here. I made a whole video documenting my entire process.